Hello, 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 it is I, Ihlamur, and I'm coming to you with a very special Pioneers of Pagonia video where we focus on the food, and specifically today we're focusing on the side meals. I have been building up to this with my focus on the farms and the windmill and the baker, and today we're going to focus on the side meals because we've looked at all the pieces that make up side meals. Now, food in Pioneers of Pagonia, you've got to think about this at scale. One of the things that I've realized is that you are going to produce a tremendous amount of food, and that can really drive your economy far beyond what I was originally thinking. This is not a small thing. We are able to create a lot of resources out of the food that we're going to gather. Now, food is useful for mining of your resources, your iron, your coal, your silver, your copper, and also your stone cutters or your quarries are going to use your food in order to make those journeys, in order to get your resources. You're also going to use food to grow your population. So when your pioneers sit down to have their meals, that will give them comfort, and that comfort gets taken back to their residences. And once their residences reach a particular score of comfort, then you are going to get newborns, you're going to grow your population, and that is going to allow you to expand. Food is incredibly important. It's one of the foundational pieces of Pioneers of Pagonia. But again, you've got to think about this as food as a community project. You've got multiple people in each building. And many of you will have played Settlers. Settlers was a very individualistic idea. One person did one thing. Pioneers of Pagonia is much more communal, and food should be thought of it in that way and at that sort of scale. Now, there are a large number of foods available in Pioneers of Pagonia, and I'm going to show you these in the game. You've got your hunter who collects all your meat, your fisherman now who collects your fish, which is another sort of meat really. You've got your crop farmers who collect your wheat, which gets turned into bread, and your corn. You've got your vegetable farmers who will collect your pumpkins and your cabbages, and then you've got foragers who are going to collect your porcini mushrooms and your raspberries. So a huge number of foods that are used in different ways, and I'm going to explain those, and also I expect this to grow. We've already seen in a recent update the fishermen come in. I expect the number of foods will grow as the game continues to expand. I've put together a number of charts for you, and on the screen now you'll see the first chart just entitled Food, and it shows who gathers what kind of food, and as you can see we've got the 11 different kinds of food, and I haven't put water on here, although water is something that gets collected at the tavern, but it's kind of automatic, so I haven't put that on here. You can see that each type of food has a nutrition score and a comfort score, and you can find these in the FAQ, but I have checked them out with the developers. And so nutrition, you can see rabbit, you get a nutrition of 4, you get a comfort of 4. Boar, much better than rabbit for nutrition, you get a nutrition score of 8, but no comfort score, so you can't really make a comfort meal out of boar. Deer, the other way around, no nutrition score, but you do get a comfort score. Now, in your provisioner, you will notice that your deer does have, you can make a nutritious meal, or a ration rather, out of deer, but you only get one ration, so it's not efficient, and it's therefore turned off by default. And you can see I've put that especially under the provisioner and tavern. Now, these foods are split into different types. You've got main dishes, side dishes, and desserts, and you also have the drink, which is water, which again is automatic at the tavern. Now, this main dishes, side dishes, and desserts is only really important for the tavern, and we'll get into that a little bit later. The meats and the breads can be turned into meals by either your provisioner, who will make rations, or your tavern, which is going to make meals, and the tavern can make either comfort meals or nutritious meals. However, your side dishes, your vegetables, your mushrooms, your raspberries, they're only going to be used by the tavern, and so they can be made into nutritious meals or comfort meals as well, but again only at the tavern. Now, you might ask me, Ihlamur, what do these scores mean? Well, I will tell you. A nutrition value means that it can make a nutritious meal, and that nutritious meal is always going to make 3 nutritious meals, but the meals that get made have different nutritious values. So let's look at the rabbit. It's got a nutrition value of 4. It will get made into 3 meals, and each one of those meals will have a nutrition value of 4. So 3 times 4 equals 12. Your miners for every single one of those rabbits are going to make 12 journeys. Now that's with 3 meals, so 3 meals will get delivered and each one has a nutrition value of 4, so 12 journeys. Remember that your miners or your stonecutters, there's 3 of them in each of your buildings, so each of them are going to use one of those meals most likely. The rabbit also has a comfort value of 4. Now comfort meals, you get 4 meals out of it, so that's going to be 4 times 4. You get a comfort score of 16. So 4 of your pioneers are going to sit down at a table, they're going to eat the food, and they're going to go back, each one of them with a score of 4, but the total score is 16 for the rabbit. So you can imagine that each rabbit has a total comfort score or potential comfort score of 16. Boar, again, a nutrition value of 8. 8 times 3 is 24, so you're going to get 24 mining journeys, or if you want to think about it this way, 24 resources out of each boar that you kill. But you're not going to get in comfort. Deer, on the other hand, you'll get a comfort of 8. And so 8 times 4 is 32. Those pioneers will go back to their residences and they'll add 32 comfort to your comfort score. As we've seen, some foods only have a nutrition score or only have a comfort score, so they're only useful in one way. Others, like rabbit or pumpkin or raspberries, have both a nutrition and a comfort score, so they can be used in 2 different ways, and that's obviously going to be helpful for you, especially at the beginning of the game where you're trying to do a lot with just a few resources. Notice that whether you use the tavern to make a nutritious meal or the provisioner to make rations, actually the number of mining journeys that you get out of nutritious meals or rations are the same. So for the rabbit, you're going to get 12 mining journeys, whichever way it goes. So you might ask me, what's the point of having a tavern when you need so much more resources? You need market stalls, you need tables, you need a water fountain. The tavern's huge, it takes a lot of resources. Why would anyone ever build a tavern? Well, let me tell you. The thing about taverns is that you can combine ingredients to make much better meals. So you can take a main dish, a side dish, a dessert, and the drink, the water, which is always going to be the case, and create a dish that combines all of those nutrition scores or all of those comfort scores into one meal. And that is obviously way more efficient. Now, fortunately for you, I've done the math and I've looked at all the possible combinations of main dishes, side dishes, desserts and drinks, including not having those, and there are 144 possible combinations. Now, a number of those are impossible combinations. They include a main dish that has no comfort score and a side dish that has no nutrition score, for example, and those are conflicts. You can't make a meal out of those, and so if you exclude those conflicts, you get 108 different combinations. Now, of those combinations, half of them don't include water, but the tavern is always going to include water because you have to have a market fountain. So including water, you've got 54 different combinations. 30 of those 54 are nutritious meals and 24 of those are comfort meals. And on the screen are those 30 different nutrition combinations and 24 different comfort combinations ordered by the most nutritious or the most comfort giving. And so you can look at this and see which one is going to give you the most benefit. Some of you are going to look at my chart and say it's wrong. The nutritious and comfort meals should totally include the third circle, which says including water. I know, but I've just put it there because it kind of gives an idea rather than trying to absolutely show you the ratio visually. I'm just trying to get an idea across. So let's take an example. If I had boar meat in one of my market stalls, bread in one of my market stalls, and raspberries in another one of my market stalls, the cook is going to go around, he's going to collect all 4 of those, and that's going to give me a total nutrition of 17. 8 plus 6 plus 2 plus 1, 17 nutrition. And then he's going to make 3 meals out of it, each one with a nutrition value of 17. That's going to provide my miners with 51 mining journeys. So that's 51 resources out of really one meal, or 3 meals but one process. On the other side, with the comfort, the deer, The porcini, the raspberries and water again gives you a comfort score of 17. That gets made into 4 meals, which then will be put onto the tables. 4 pioneers will eat that. Each one of them will get a comfort score of 17, and they'll take that back to the residence that they're living in. That residence, if it goes above a certain comfort score, will then produce newborns. That way your population will increase. So that's what food is all about. That's the 2 things that it can do, and these are the ways to do it. However, it is important to think about, is it worth getting the extra bread or the extra raspberries? For the time that it takes to gather those, is it worth it to be able to produce better meals? Now, I haven't done all of the research here. What I've done is I've just done the research on the side meals so far: the bread, the corn, the pumpkin, the cabbage, and the porcini. And you can see the grid that I'm filling in here on the screen. So let's look at bread. Bread will provide you with 18 mining journeys for each piece of bread. However, it will take you 21 seconds per piece of bread if you've got an optimal wheat farm, 2 windmills and 4 bakers, and it's all set up for optimal efficiency. 21 seconds per unit, which gives you 171 units of bread or loaves of bread per hour. That will give you 3,086 mining journeys per hour, whether you send it to the tavern or whether you send it to the provisioner. If you're collecting corn, you don't get any mining journeys, but you do get a comfort score of 16. And you can get a piece of corn every 7 seconds if you set up one farm absolutely optimally. At that rate, you get 523 buckets of corn, sheaves of corn every hour, and that will give you a comfort score, combined comfort score of 8,364 per hour from the tavern. So obviously that's going to be incredibly powerful. Pumpkins, they are growable in most biomes, on your fertile, on your grassy, and one of the others, I can't remember, maybe sandy. It's useful for nutrition and for comfort. So you get 9 mining journeys out of a single pumpkin, or a comfort score of 12. You can get pumpkins every 7 seconds if you set up a farm optimally, and that gives you 516 units per hour. That means that you could get 4,648 mining journeys out of a well set up pumpkin farm every hour, or 6,197 additional comfort score per hour. Cabbages a little bit better than pumpkins for the mining journeys. Now, like I say, I've only done this for the farms, really. So the corn, the pumpkin, the cabbage, and the bread at this point. When you get to the point of combining, so putting in fishermen or hunters or foragers to gather your raspberries, then you're going to be increasing these numbers. The question that I have is, how much is too much? We only have so many miners. We only have so many resources on the map. How much do we need? How much do we need to invest in food? And my guess is food is such a plentiful resource that we're not going to need as much as we can produce. So it's going to be how much is going to be optimal to produce to be able to defeat a map. Now, the other way to look at this is, if you have more food, you can produce more resources, you can produce more soldiers, and you can crush your opponents. And honestly, that's what I want to be doing. So I want to make sure that food isn't a bottleneck, it's not a limitation on my resources, and I'm really looking forward to creating farms and meal productions that really empower my military and allow me to take out these large thief camps and werewolf camps to the point where it's not a concern for me anymore. So I hope you've enjoyed this. This is a very kind of brief look really at the food, but it's an overview. I hope it helps you to understand the food system a little bit better. We're going to be looking at the miners, we're going to be looking at the hunters and the fishermen and the foragers, and also at the taverns and the provisioners in our Focus On series. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. That way you won't miss anything. And then we're going to look at actually what is best, what is most optimal, and what do we need. And at the end of the day, we'll be able to set up, I believe, very quickly a starting base that provides for our expansion in every game. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. The cheat sheets are available both on Discord and on Reddit on the Pioneers of Pagonia's pages, so feel free to have a look at those. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Love to answer them. Bye bye.